You're standing in line at the grocery store and the person in front of you is buying their weekly groceries with what looks like a regular debit card. But plot twist, they're not spending money they earned from a job. They're spending money that the government just gave them. For free. Every month, no questions asked. Welcome to the wild, controversial world of Universal Basic Income, or UBI for short. Today, I'll explain what UBI is, why some people think it's the greatest idea since sliced bread, and why others think it's going to turn us all into lazy couch potatoes who destroy the economy. And by the end, you'll understand why grown-ups are having heated arguments about giving everyone free money. So, what exactly is Universal Basic Income? Imagine if the government decided that every single person in the country, your mom, your dad, your annoying little brother, even you, got a monthly allowance. Not because you did chores or got good grades, but just because you exist. That's basically UBI. It's like a giant national allowance system where everyone gets the same amount of money every month, no matter what. Rich people get it, poor people get it, people with jobs get it, people without jobs get it. Everyone. That's why it's called universal. It's for literally everyone. But wait, there's more. This isn't just any allowance. This is supposed to be enough money to cover your basic needs. You know, the really important stuff like food, a place to live, and clothes that aren't completely embarrassing. The idea is that with basic income, nobody would have to worry about starving or sleeping on the street. It's like a safety net, but instead of catching you when you fall, it's more like a trampoline that keeps you bouncing at a certain height all the time. Now, you might be thinking, wait a minute, doesn't the government already help people who don't have money? And you'd be right. There are already programs like welfare, food stamps, unemployment benefits, and housing assistance. But here's the thing, all those programs have rules. Lots and lots of rules. I mean, you have to prove that you're poor enough, or that you're looking for a job, or that you have kids, or that you're disabled. It's like having to fill out a giant homework assignment every time you need help. And if you mess up even one question, you might not get any help at all. UBI is different though, because it throws all those rules out the window. There's no paperwork, no proving that you deserve it, no jumping through hoops. It's like if your parents said, you know what, instead of making you ask for money every time you need something, we're just going to give you $20 every week, and you can spend it however you want. Except instead of your parents, it's the government, and instead of $20 a week, it's enough money to live on every month. So, where did this crazy idea come from? Believe it or not, people have been talking about giving everyone free money for hundreds of years. I mean, all the way back to the 1700s, a guy named Thomas Paine, you know, one of those founding father types, suggested that the government should give everybody some money when they turn 21. He called it a citizen's dividend. I mean, even some really famous economists, you know, the smart people who study money and how it moves around, have supported the idea. Milton Friedman, who was basically the grandfather of free market economics, thought UBI was a great idea because it would be simpler than all the complicated welfare programs that we have now. But the idea really started getting attention in the 1960s and 70s. President Nixon, yes, the same Nixon who had to resign, actually tried to pass a version of UBI. It didn't work out, but the fact that even a Republican president thought it was worth trying tells you something. Then in the 2000s, a place called Alaska actually started doing it. Every year, Alaska gives every resident a check from oil money. I mean, it's not enough to live on, but it's still free money for everyone. And guess what? Alaska didn't collapse into chaos. People didn't suddenly become lazy. In fact, the economy kept working just fine. Now, let's talk about why some people think UBI is the best thing since pizza delivery. First, they say it would eliminate poverty. I mean, think about it. If everyone gets enough money to cover their basic needs, then nobody would be poor, right? It's like if everyone in your class got the same amount of lunch money, so that nobody would go hungry. No more people living on the streets, no more kids going to bed without dinner, no more families having to choose between paying for medicine or paying for groceries. Second, supporters say UBI would make people more free to take risks and be creative. Right now, lots of people stay in jobs that they hate because they need the health insurance or because they can't afford to quit and look for something better. But if you knew you had that basic income coming in every month, you might be brave enough to start your own business or go back to school or become an artist. It's like having a financial safety net that lets you try the trapeze without worrying about falling and breaking your neck. Third, UBI could actually save money in the long run. I know, that sounds weird. How can giving everyone money save money? But think about all the bureaucracy we have now. There are entire government departments full of people whose job is to figure out who deserves help and who doesn't. There are social workers, case managers, investigators, and administrators. All those people need salaries, offices, computers, and coffee. With UBI, you could replace all of that with a simple system. Everyone gets a check. No means testing, no paperwork, no bureaucracy, just direct deposits into everyone's bank accounts. Fourth, supporters argue that UBI would give workers more power. Right now, if your boss treats you terribly, you might have to put up with it because you need that paycheck to survive. But if you had basic income, you could tell your terrible boss exactly what you think of them and then walk out. This would force employers to treat workers better and pay them more, because workers would have the option to say no to bad jobs. But hold on there, money tree lovers, because not everyone thinks that UBI is such a great idea. The critics have some pretty serious concerns, and they're not just being party poopers. Their first big worry is about the cost. I mean, we're talking about giving every single person in the country enough money to live on. In the United States, that could cost trillions of dollars every year. Trillions! That's a number so big that it's hard to even imagine. I mean, where's all that money going to come from? Well, taxes probably, lots and lots of taxes. And not just on rich people. Everyone would probably have to pay more taxes to fund everyone's basic income. The second big criticism is that UBI might make people lazy. I mean, think about it. If you knew you were going to get money every month no matter what, would you still want to work? Some critics worry that people would just sit at home playing video games and watching Netflix all day, living off their basic income. They call this the hammock problem, the idea that instead of being a safety net, UBI becomes a hammock that people just lie in forever. Third, critics worry about inflation. Inflation is what happens when prices go up because there's more money floating around. It's like if everyone in your school suddenly got twice as much lunch money. The cafeteria might decide to double the price of pizza because they know that everyone can afford it. And if everyone has more money from UBI, landlords might even raise rent, grocery stores might raise food prices, and suddenly that basic income doesn't buy as much as it used to. Fourth, some people think that UBI is unfair because it gives money to people who don't need it. I mean, why should millionaires get a basic income check? Wouldn't it make more sense to just help the people who actually need it? It's like giving everyone in your class the same amount of help with homework, even the kids who already are getting A's. But wait, there's even more controversy. Some critics worry that UBI might actually hurt the people that it's supposed to help. Right now, we have specific programs for specific problems. Food stamps for hungry people, housing assistance for homeless people, Medicaid for sick people. These programs are designed to make sure that people get exactly what they need. But with UBI, you just get cash, and there's no guarantee that you'll spend it on food or housing or healthcare. What if people spend their basic income on things they want instead of things that they need? There's also the political problem. Getting UBI passed would require convincing politicians to completely overhaul how we help people. That's like trying to convince your school to throw out all the rules and start over from scratch. It's possible, yes, but it would be really, really hard and lots of people would fight against it. So, what does the evidence actually show? Well, that's where things get interesting. There have been several pilot programs and experiments with UBI around the world, and the results are complicated. In some places, like Kenya, people use the money to start businesses, send their kids to school, and improve their lives. In Finland, they tried UBI for unemployed people, and while it didn't make people more likely to get jobs, it did make them happier and less stressed. But here's the tricky part about all these experiments. They're small and temporary. It's one thing to give a few thousand people basic income for 2 years. It's completely different to give everyone in a country basic income forever. The small experiments can't tell us what would happen to the economy, to work incentives, or to society as a whole if we actually implemented UBI everywhere. There's also the question of how much money we're talking about. I mean, most UBI proposals suggest giving people enough to cover their basic needs, maybe $1,000 to $1,500 a month in the United States. But is that really enough to live on? In some places, sure. In others, especially expensive cities, that might not even cover rent. And if that's not enough to actually live on, then people would still need jobs, which means UBI becomes more like a bonus than a replacement for work. The automation argument is another big piece of this puzzle. Some UBI supporters argue that we're going to need it because robots and artificial intelligence are going to take everyone's jobs. They say that in the future, machines will be able to do everything that humans can do, but better and cheaper. If that does happen, then there won't be enough jobs for everyone, so we'll need UBI to keep people from starving. But critics point out that people have been predicting that machines would take all of our jobs for over 200 years, and it hasn't happened yet. Every time technology eliminates some jobs, it creates new ones. Then there's the questions of what UBI would do to the meaning of work. Right now, for many people, having a job isn't just about money. It's about purpose, identity, and social connection. People often define themselves by what they do for work. I'm a teacher, I'm a nurse, I'm a mechanic. If UBI made work optional, would people lose their sense of purpose? Or would they find new ways to contribute to society and feel fulfilled? Some UBI supporters argue that this would actually be a good thing. They say people would be free to pursue work that they are passionate about, even if it doesn't pay well. Maybe more people would become teachers, artists, or social workers. Jobs that are important but don't always pay enough to live on. Maybe people would volunteer more, take care of their families better, or start innovative projects that benefit everyone. Then there's the international perspective, which adds another layer of complexity. Some countries, like those in Scandinavia, already have strong social safety nets and might find it easier to implement UBI. Others, like the United States, have a culture that emphasizes individual responsibility and might resist the idea of giving everyone free money. And in developing countries, UBI might have completely different effects than in wealthy nations. So, is UBI a safety net or a socialist disaster? Well, the honest answer is that we don't really know yet. It could be either, or neither, or something in between. What we do know, though, is that our current systems for helping people aren't perfect. There are still people who fall through the cracks, still bureaucracy that wastes money and time, still workers who feel trapped in bad jobs. UBI represents a radically different approach to these problems. Instead of trying to fix the current system piece by piece, it suggests throwing it all out and starting over with something completely different. That's either brilliantly innovative or dangerously reckless, depending on your perspective. The truth is, universal basic income is one of those ideas that sounds simple, but is actually incredibly complicated. Giving everyone free money might solve some problems, but it would definitely create new ones. Whether the benefits outweigh the costs, whether it would make society better or worse, whether it's politically possible, these are all questions that smart people disagree about, and probably will disagree about for a long time. What's clear, though, is that UBI isn't going away as an idea. As technology advances, as inequality grows, as traditional jobs change, more and more people are going to talk about it. So now you know what all the fuss is about. Universal basic income. Not quite magic, definitely controversial, and possibly the future of how we take care of each other. Or possibly a terrible idea that would ruin everything. Only time will tell.